It's time to register for CNT's religious school. Young CNT members, pre-K through 12th grade, get access to fantastic teachers, a great curriculum, and great community and quality Jewish education. So please look at the website for information on how to register there. It's also time to register, enroll children 18 months to pre-K in the Gary and Lynn Cantor Early Child Center preschool. There are wait lists already for some of those classes, so please contact the temple office or go on the website if you want to register for that. CNT's Trivia Tuesdays continues next Tuesday, July 26th at 7 p.m. for CNT members and non-members alike. Take part in virtual trivia via Zoom from your computer. You can RSVP to Mindy Wadkins at me.com for the Zoom link and instructions on how to play. A longtime CNT member, Jen Wolf, is offering a 4-part Zoom workshop called From Aging to Saging. Register now for the 4 classes, and a portion of the registration fee will be donated to Congregation Near to Mead. Learn how to become a wiser elder, mentor to younger generations, share your wisdom, and fully live the winter of life and prepare for complete life and peace. You can find more information about that at www.spiritualdirectionwithjen.com. CNT's adult B'nai Mitzvah students book drive is collecting books for Spread the Word Nevada, an organization that provides at-risk students with books to call their own and helps promote childhood literacy. Please donate children's books in the book drive drop box located in our main lobby through Monday, August 1st. So that one's got about a week, a little bit more than a week left. So if you have some books laying around you need to donate, please bring them in. And you can also help the CNT adult B'nai Mitzvah students help the homeless this summer. Also outside the sanctuary, there's a box where you can donate men's shoes, bottles of water, and takeout containers through August 18th. If you'd like to donate money to the cause, there's also a Venmo QR code on the box. The High Holy Days are approaching, and you should have gotten information already for the Yitzker Memorial Tribute Book. If you have any information that needs to be updated and or changed for your Yitzker Memorial this year, please complete that or go onto the CNT website and do that as soon as possible. The CNT Sisterhood, to shop at the CNT Sisterhood Fine and Family Gift Shop this summer, please call ahead for an appointment. Either Kathy Lenevsky or Cheryl Cohen can help you with that. I have those numbers up here. You can see me after services if you'd like to get those phone numbers. And you can save $1,000 when joining. You can save $1,000 when joining the Nevada mission to Israel in June 2023 to celebrate Israel at 75 if you register before Sunday, July 31st. It's a community-wide trip hosted in partnership with several local congregations and will feature unique and unforgettable itinerary. To register, go to Nevada Mission to Israel.org. Don't forget, the Lost and Found box here at CNT is full of a lot of lost treasures that belong to somebody. Talits, yarmulkes. Please come by the office sometime if you think you're missing something or might have forgotten something and pick those items up. Thank you very much. Shabbat Shalom.
Hello. Good jobs, everyone. I know you're going to say you forgot what I look like. Go ahead and say it. A little vacation, a little trip to Israel. Been a long time away, but I've been back over about 10 days, and it's just been good to get a little relaxation. So thank you for bearing with us in July when Cantor and I kind of switched places. So you're not Cantor, this is Glory. Everyone say Shabbat Shalom, Glory. All right.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom to everyone. And we have Eddie on piano, and we hope that you will join along in the songs. It's going to be a special service because, as you know, we had our congregational trip, and we're going to hear some of the people on the trip share their stories and we have a little film as well. And we hope it inspires you, if you've never been to Israel, to take advantage of that opportunity next June with the community trip. So the next congregational trip probably won't be for 3 years. So if you really want to go sooner, that would be next June, okay? And trip of a lifetime. So, Eddie, what do we have next? Shalom Aleichem. All right, let's spin it on 144. Maybe 142.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon.
142.
Mi melech malachei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bohem leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu ni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Serchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
In honor of Shabbat, we kindle the Shabbat lights. I'd like to call upon all the participants in the Israel trip to come on up. Page 120. Please come on up. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
(126). We join together in reading this prayer of gratitude. I begin with the prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics and no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us and to bring that vision to life. We continue on 138 with Legato D.
Ya la 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 legato di. Ya la 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 le grat kala. Ya la 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 pene Shabbat. Pene Shabbat nekabe. Ya la 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 legato di. Ya la 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 le grat kala. Ya la 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 pene Shabbat nekabela Shamor v'zachor bedibor echad Hishmianu El Hamiuchad Adonai Echad Ushemo Echad L'Shem Ultiveret Velitchila Ya la la Ya la 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 Legato di Ya la 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 le grat kala Ya la 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 pene Shabbat nekabela Ligrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha Ki mikor abaracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma shebama shevat hilah Ya la la, ya la 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 legato di. Ya la 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 le grat kala. Ya la 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 pene Shabbat nekabela. Please rise to greet the Shabbat bride. Boi v'shalom ateret bala Gam b'simcha uv'tzola Toch emunei Am segula Boi chala Ya la 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 legato di Ya la 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 le grat kala Ya la 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 pene Shabbat nekabe Ya la 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 legato di Ya la 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 le grat kala Ya la 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 pene Shabbat nekabela
We remain standing as we face the Ark, 146, and remain standing through the Shema.
Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya 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 la 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 la. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Ya la 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 la. Ya 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 la 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 la.
149, we read together. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and seasons glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars, creator of the tide of time and light. You guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv aravim. We turn the page together. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael. And now as we concentrate on the meaning of the Shema, we gently cover our eyes with our eyes closed, and we join together in the watchword of our faith.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever. Please be seated. This next prayer, the Ve'ahavta, is attached to the Shema. It's familiar, we say it at each service, but you might not remember that in the mezuzah that we have on the doorposts of our home, we have the words of the Shema and of the Ve'ahavta. A reminder to place these words on the doorposts of our homes comes right from the prayer itself. So it identifies our homes as Jewish homes, but also the importance of talking about God and loving God and feeling God's loving presence in our lives. We join together with glory.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol lavavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom alavavecha ושינתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתיכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
We turn to page 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternal Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות, אוסף אלה, אוסף אלה, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות, אוסף אלה, אוסף אלה.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Hashkivenu.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Hashkivenu, Leshalom, Ve'amidenu, Shomreinu lechaim, Ufros aleinu, Sukat shlomecha, Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Hashkivenu, Leshalom. peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Vishamru. Vishamru v'nei Israel et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. בני ובן בני ישראל, בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
164, 165 is the beginning of the tefillah. We rise for that as we face the ark. Pray as if everything depended on God. Act as if everything depended on you.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibur v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Vezocher Chasdei Avot V'Imaot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומשיח ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם וזרע שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל.
We continue at our own pace as we remain standing and read the pages through page 179. When you're done, that time, please be seated. We turn now to our Mishaberach prayer. For those of you who are watching on the stream, we don't have a way to be interactive. The cantor is the queen of the iPad. But go ahead and enter the names on the Facebook or YouTube or whatever technology we're using tonight and add that. And the same will be true when we have the Kaddish. You can add the names of your loved ones at that time. But for now, I read our Mishaberach list. These are names submitted to us into the office. And we think of Bessie and Jean-Marc Chaubert, Logan Knapp, the Knapp family, Valerie Rasher, Yirmiyahu Ben Sarah, Angela Thompson, Beverly Aronofsky, Sarah Brown, Demetra McGowan, Rivka Wolf, Dory Kurtman, Yirmiyahu Mordechai Ben Avram Vasara, Janice Greb, my sister Dina Shee, and my dear friend Glenn Califf. Are there other folks to be mentioned in your circle of love? Please stand and say their names. These are for prayers of healing, for healing. Go ahead. So we think of all of these, there's so many people who give of themselves for those who are caregivers. We join together in our Misha Barak prayer.
Misha Barak Avotenu Makor HaBracha May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishe Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renew of body, the renew of spirit, and let us say Amen.
All right, Lee out there in the foyer, go ahead and drop the screens at this time. Someone go out there and tap Lee on the shoulder. Could you do that, Alec? Tell him to pop down the screens. There we go. So, in a few moments we're going to hear from some members of our trip who went to Israel, but I'm going to put it in context. So let's think about this. I have been going to Israel. I just was thinking about it for 50 years. I know I don't look it. 50 years I've been going to Israel. So since I was a teenager till now, and each of these experiences have been unique. When I first came in Jerusalem, when I was about 15, I stayed at the YMCA, which still exists. It's a historic building across the street from the King David. Never have stayed at the King David. One day, I had, something to drink there. And I worked on an archaeological dig, and there were actually, it was very biblical when I first went. There were donkeys in the street. You could see a camel. I was part of an archaeological dig. I was able to go down to Sharm el-Sheikh, which is now in Egypt, and scuba dive. And then later on, I was in rabbinical school, and you go to the Wailing Wall, and someone grabbed me and says, "You want to go study in the yeshiva?" I go, "Okay." And he takes me to a yeshiva and he's trying to talk me out of becoming a Reform rabbi. Oy. And then later on, here I am at Congregation Ner Tamid. I begin to lead groups roughly every 2 to 3 years since coming here in 1988. It's been a wonderful thing to allow people to see Israel through my eyes and their own eyes, and of course, through the eyes of these wonderful guides that devote their great knowledge and impart it with such passion and love that the experience of seeing Israel comes to life. And we usually, but not always, make this kind of trip from Tel Aviv to the Galilee to Jerusalem and down to Masada and the Dead Sea. And that's what we've done. Sometimes we do it, instead of clockwise, we do it counterclockwise. But we always make a point of seeing those three cities. And Tel Aviv is Israel's version of New York, right? This big, bustling, modern city. And it used to be the largest city, but now Jerusalem has surpassed it. Then you go up north to the Galilee, and there's the holy city of Sfat, which, sadly, COVID kind of decimated a lot of the artist colonies there. But not all of them, but when we went, I'd say a third remain. So I'm praying that gradually the artists will rebuild and be able to repopulate those shops, because where else are we going to buy these beautiful artistic items to bring back home? Wonders that you won't find anywhere else. And the Sea of Galilee, this immense lake, not this year, some years we've actually taken boat trips on it, and sometimes we've had a hotel next to it. This year we had our hotel in Sfat itself, which was really a wonderful thing. And of course, I always am known for the Jeep ride and the, what do we call it? The raft trip. What do I call it? Kayaking, right? But it's really not kayaking. It just scares them a little. You get in this raft and we go down the River Jordan, which is, I think, about 1.5 feet deep by now. It's not very deep. But don't tell anyone. It's the River Jordan, right? So you'll see some of that in the film. And then we make our way to Jerusalem, and of course, Masada, the Dead Sea. Some of the members went on to Jordan, and they went to Petra, which I had done in a previous year. And if you saw one of the Indiana Jones movies, you might remember there's a scene there that was actually filmed at that place. Does anyone remember? Where's Anthony? What film was that? Last Crusade. That was at the end of it, right?
Yeah, the last 40 minutes.
Last bit. That was filmed there. So those are some of the little highlights as you think about our trips. So now I'm going to call upon Anthony, Sugar, and Debbie, who went on the trip, and I asked them to share, how this trip impacted them, a little bit about the trip, a story or two, and then we'll watch the film that Leslie's made that will show the highlights from the trip. All right, flipped a coin. Who's going first?
No, you go first.
All right, you guys want to hold the mic, or you'd rather use this?
Yeah, you
Sitting or what?
Okay, all right.
All right, so don't hold that because there's a little wire in there. Just get
talk
close
from-
to it, yeah.
Okay. Good Shabbos, I'm Sugar Vogel.
You gotta get close to it.
Okay, I'm Sugar Vogel, and it was a calling for me to go with the rabbi to Israel. And to say it was the trip of a lifetime just makes it trite, but it was the trip of a lifetime. And people have asked me, what was your favorite part? There's the Kotel, you're at the wall, there's Masada, the floating in the Dead Sea. I love the mitzvah projects that you'll see where we put the stone on the peace wall next to Gaza. So much of it in such a great group. But one story I wanted to share with you is a taxi cab ride that I took my last day. It was just about the time that President Biden had announced that he was going to be going to visit Israel in a few weeks and Saudi Arabia. And it was just the week that Prime Minister Bennett's coalition was falling apart. So nobody quite knew who the next Prime Minister of Israel was going to be. And it was the last day, and I had to do some last-minute shopping at the Shuk. So I was exhausted, so I jumped in a taxi cab to get back to the hotel. And when I was sitting in the back of the taxi cab, I noticed on the GPS that it was Arabic. And I thought, I was a little uncomfortable, I have to admit. It was a young taxi cab driver, he was about 30. And I was going back to the Inbal. And then there was a kid on the side of the road, looked about his same age, in a Pizza Hut shirt. And the cab driver said to me, do you mind? That's my best friend. Can I pick him up? He needs a ride. So I said, sure. So he picked up his best friend, and he was Israeli. So the Israeli kid got in the taxi cab, and he said, you American? I said, yes, I'm from America. He says, this is my best friend for 25 years. I said, you're best friends? He said, you seem a little surprised. I said, yeah, I am a little surprised. Do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions? He said, sure. So I said, do you want a two-state solution? And the Israeli kid said, no. And the
Arab kid said no. And I said, why? The Israeli kid said, because my friend won't live as well as he lives in Israel. And I found that very interesting. So I said, all right, one more question. So President Biden has just announced that he's coming, and what do you think? What do you think's going to go on? I understand that Prime Minister Bennett's got a hard coalition to keep together. What do you think? So the Israeli kid said, Biden, he'll come, he'll talk to Bennett, they'll talk, they'll schmooze, doesn't matter, Hashem will decide. That's all he said. And for some reason that just struck me, that it was the belief in Hashem and God that would determine the future of this wonderful land. And it was just a remarkable trip, and I would encourage everybody, if you haven't made the trip, please try to go. If you have made the trip, go again. It was wonderful. And Rabbi did a fabulous job as a tour guide. Didn't quite sing probably as well as Jessica would have done with the songs, but it was wonderful. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Debbie Primack, and my friends and family have asked me, what was your favorite part of going to Israel? And everybody asked me the same question. What was your favorite part? And I went, just being there. Did I do something?
We just got to adjust the mic.
Oh, because I'm short.
A little shorter.
Okay. So it was being in Israel was very, very exciting. I was there 22 years ago. And everybody said, oh, it's going to be so different. It's that. Well, the same feeling that you had, that I had 22 years ago about being there, and I went with Rabbi then, was just wonderful. But there was one story I want to share with you because it shows the ingenious of the Israelis. And that was, and I might be saying it wrong, the Ayalon Institute. And at the Ayalon Institute, we got there and they first showed us a film about soldiers making, now this is before Israel was a state, making secretly 2.5 million bullets. They knew that they would need bullets once they became a country because they might have to go to war. And what they did was they dug a hole under the laundromat and under the bakery to fit the equipment and to make the bullets. When they took us to the actual museum, they had the actual equipment that was there that they used, and they had, they'd made wood figures for the workers. But it showed us how they did it. And they never had an accident. It took them 3 years. There were only 43 people that knew about this. They worked in the bakery, they worked in the laundromat, they made the bullets, they put the gunpowder in the bullets. They had somebody there just to clean the clothes of the workers. So when they went out, they didn't have any fragments of metal on them, and people would ask questions. They wanted to make sure nobody was going to ask any questions. So the way you entered the basement was the washing machine was on a platform that moved. And when it moved, there were stairs. And so they would go down the stairs, and they would come in and out sporadically during the day because they didn't want 25 people coming out at one time and people were asking questions. So they thought about that. They thought about everything. So the bullet makers I want to back up for a minute. In the bakery, the laundry ran all day long to hide the noise. The laundry was for the kibbutz, and it was for the soldiers, the British soldiers, to do their laundry. They baked bread in the morning. So after they baked the bread, 8 times a day, they put fresh air into the basement for the workers, which I thought was also pretty ingenious. They had, like I said, they had somebody clean the shoes. They even had an ultraviolet light that they would sit under so they would look tan. Now, this is back in the early 40s, and I thought that was pretty interesting that they thought about that, because they didn't want people asking questions, why are you so pale if you're out in the fields? So, because they were supposed to be out in the field working. My favorite story, let me see if there's anything else in my notes that I want to take. They hid the bullets in milk tankers, in a secret compartment of milk tankers. They would test 10 out of every 1,000 bullets. They had a shooting range in the basement. So the washing machine is going all day. Nobody hears anything, so they could test the bullets again. But this is my favorite part of the story. One of the guys that was working there decided to serve warm beer to the British soldiers. The British soldiers would come to drink beer, schmooze with the pretty girls. And so this guy said, let's start serving them warm beer. And they said, so the soldiers said, we don't like warm beer. And they said, well, we like it this way. But if you want cold beer, let us know when you're coming, and we'll put it in the fridge for you. I mean, think about that. They wanted to know when the British were coming because they wanted to be prepared that nobody would ever find out about them. And they didn't. It was just very, very interesting phenomenon of what they did. It was very noisy. They endured it because it was for the greater good for Israel. So that's a story I wanted to share with you because I thought it was very interesting. Okay.
Hello, I'm Anthony Sines. I'm brand new here. I've been here a little over a year. As Moses said, I'm a stranger in a strange land, and it's not so strange anymore. Thank you, Rabbi. I was brought up Catholic. I recently converted last December at the ripe old age of whatever, and I started when I was 7. We went to see the Ten Commandments. My mom bought reservation tickets. Went downtown, had a picture of Yul Brynner on the front, and we went to the movies, and we came out, and my mom said in a proclamation, we got to go to the Holy Land. I go, what? We're Catholic, Mom. What are you talking about? Well, we got to go to the Holy Land. Well, I didn't know, but, my family was a converso, and it was in our family DNA, and my whole life has been sprinkled with people of this faith that have touched me deeply and in a way that I had no idea to comprehend. In 1964, I went to high school with Mark Spitz, back for those that remember who he was or still is. And I thought he was another Hispanic because he was dark like me, but he was from Israel. And we got to be really good friends for a couple of years before he got too famous. And there was a connection there. And I started looking at the people in my life that all seemed the same. It was Jewish people. And I felt, even though I was brought up Catholic, my mom had great resolute lines. She'd say stuff like, a bad job is better than no job. Some money is better than no money, God forbid. And I would run these lines past people, and they would say, are you Jewish? And I go, no, I'm Catholic. Anyway, push comes to shove. I had a great calling. I felt like I did some investigation at 23andMe and found that I was 43% Sephardic. And my mom conveyed to me before she passed on that part of the faith. And so it became for me a big deal to come here. And I was going to go with my other temple in San Jose. COVID hit, nothing happened. So I came here, and you fulfilled my dreams. This is very primal to me. I didn't grow up in the faith. I really wish I'm trying to make up for that now and to build these memories. But I feel like I so belong. I so belong. I fit like a glove. And it's because of this faith and the people like you that have touched me greatly. And I can't say one thing over another. Just the experience of the 14 days changed me to a way I can't explain. My expectations were exceeded. This exceeded my expectations. The experience was greater than what I thought. And I am so humbly appreciative of this and glad to have made the trip. And so the one bottom line for me is going to Masada. That was kind of the cornerstone. Something I'd run into in 1979, and it became something I wanted to do. And when I got there, I said, "This is it." And that and the Wailing Wall, the prayer wall, to stand there, it is beyond words. So to cut a longer story longer, I just want to say thank you. If you get a chance to go, please go. It'll change you. It sure changed me. Thank you.
All right. Some of you who were on the trip, would you just stand so people know what else went on the trip? And during One, maybe you'll pepper them with your own questions. And thank you so much. Now, you've heard the words, lessons. So each day, Rangers, when we try to do a social justice project, thousands of years where people have made this pilgrimage. I know that for many on our group, this is an opportunity of a lifetime. Was that a great trip or what? Yeah. All right, anyone here who's never been to Israel, raise your hand. All right. It's on you. It's on you. Please sign up for the trip that Jewish Nevada is leading. It's leaving June 7th. Probably the next temple trip won't be for 2 more years after that, so that'll be 2025. So we would love for you to go on that. And, pepper your questions to me or some of the people who went on the trip. You know, a lot of people, when you say you're going to the Middle East, they go, oh, aren't you afraid? And, because you hear all this stuff on the news. So those of you who went, were we ever afraid? You were just afraid I might sing. But other than that, no one was afraid, we felt safe. We had a great time. And it was just a trip of a lifetime every time I go. So thank you for being so good, following directions most of the time. I'm not mentioning any names, but we had a great time. So let's go ahead and we'll conclude our service with the Aleinu 586. Would the congregation please rise?
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כל גיא הארץ, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Please be seated. Again, those of you who are watching online, you're more than welcome to submit names, even though I cannot see them to read those names. But you can memorialize the ones that you've lost by putting the names in the chat. And so we say Kaddish for those who we are aware that have died in the last few weeks. Sarah Poster, Alina Zilberman, Mark Hirsch, Judith Sue Katz, Alan Correa, David Villarreal, Lenny Von Dolan, Donald Stewart Goldberg, Carol Ann Scallon Goldberg, and Leon Silverstone. Yortsites for Estelle Ostlander, Jack Buloff, Florence Cowan, Bernice DeWald, Julia DeWald, Irene Eckert, Sydney Enton, Judith Etkin, Louis Friedner, Sheila Gettos, David L. Glickman, Jenny Goldberg, Bessie Goldstein, Yetta Gratz, Hank Greenspun, David Hammer, Dorothy Collins, Carol Eileen Lebrant, Robert Levy, Yetta Miller, Howard Misley, Max Ratner, Herman Ray, Nathan Rosenthal, Joy Sacker, Susan Schiffman, Norman Siegel, Andrew Wisnowski, and Glenn Kesselhout. If you would like to say the name of someone who was not mentioned, please stand and say their name. And thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So we think of these and others who have touched our hearts. We rise to recite our Kaddish prayer. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shmei rabbah, b'yalma divrach yiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayeh l'chol beit Yisrael, b'agalav ezman kariv v'yimaru, amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam olmei olmaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekusha brichu, leila min kol birchata v'shirata, Tush bechata v'nechemata, damiram b'alma v'yomru amen. Yehi shlomo rabba min shomai v'chayim, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yomru amen. Osei shalom b'mramav, hu ya'asei shalom, Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, Amen. You may be seated. So a special thank you to our Shama Estelle, Eddie. Eddie, they gave you a new name. They said Eddie Simon. So, you're going to have to trade places. So Eddie Birch, Glory Rosenberger, that's good, right? We haven't messed that up. Leslie Snodowski, she has made that beautiful film, and you should get to know her. She is our social media and programming coordinator. And Lee, our custodian. And I'm Rabbi Axelrod. Now, as I look out in this, thank me. All right. Some new faces. If you are new to the congregation, if you're visiting, if you think, I've been coming here 13 years and no one knows my name and you want to make sure they know you, go ahead and stand up and introduce yourselves. Oh.
Eddie.
Paul and Mib, M-I-B? Men in Black. Braun? Where are you guys from? Chicago. Anyone else from Chicago?
Yes.
Chicago, look around, turn around. Chicagoans, talk amongst yourselves. Welcome. Okay. All right, Paige, do you have a last name? Schaefer, all right. And tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
I'm from Connecticut.
Anyone here from Connecticut? Oh, wait a minute. Wait. There we go. All right. Who's been to Connecticut? Raise your hand. All right, so listen. Not all bad. All right. So thanks for being here, Paige. Who else? Oh, in the far corner.
Hi, I'm Samantha Barnhart. I used to come really regularly, but then pandemic and new job, and I finally have Friday nights off in the house.
Yay. And where do you live?
Here I'm local. I live like right.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you lived here in the basement or something. Oh, but you mean here in the general area. That's good. All right, yeah. Roberta Oslansky from New York. Anyone here from New York? Come on, look around, Roberta. All right. And Roberta shared with me, she's looking to get involved, make some new friends. Please be welcoming. Introduce yourself to Roberta. And then next week, go up to her and say, do you remember me? No, don't do that. Don't do that. So, but introduce yourselves to each other, and especially Roberta, because we welcome you. I promised her she was going to make a new friend if she came. All right, please, right here in front.
Hi, my name is Mitzi, and this is my son, Aaron. He was born Aaron Fargate Shane, and his father and I were married. I was non-Jewish, however, we were married by a nice rabbi, and my son chose. I asked him to please take a faith or leave, and he chose Judaism. And so I'm here today to support my son, to embrace
What's his name? Mitzi, what's your son's name? Aaron. Okay. Welcome. All right. Is Aaron trying to say something? What did he type? All right. It takes a while. Give yourself some time. Be patient. All right. Very good. Anyone else, please? Susanna, what? Wait a minute. Susanna, what's your last name? Frank? And you're hungry? Oh, good. We're hungry too. You're from Hungary. Anyone else from Hungary? Who's been to Hungary here? Look around.
Dad's from Hungary.
Susanna, hey, turn around. They've been to Hungary also. All right, so talk amongst yourselves. Very nice that you could be here. Gentlemen?
My name is Joseph Holyfield. We live in Santa Barbara.
Where's your dad? Where's your dad? Sleeping. Well, you tell him there were a number of people sleeping during services, so if he wants to sleep, come here. It's fine, no problem. We have a sleeping section in the back and on the bima, you know. It's a little bit of both. All right. Budapest. Very good. All right.
I've never been to Santa Barbara, and I really need to go.
So I thought she'd say she's never been to Budapest, but she
I've never
says,
been there
I've never been to
either,
Santa Barbara.
But I
Okay.
would love to go to Santa Barbara.
Well, Southwest has $59 flights now, so you got to get with it.
into that.
$59 flights to Santa Barbara. All right, anyone else want to say boo? All right.
I'm Deb Harris, and I've lived here in Las Vegas since 1977, so probably longer than some of you were born.
So, Deb, have you ever been here before?
No, I haven't.
Is it our signage? Was that the problem? What? We're hard to find?
No, actually, I'm here because of my really good friend Debbie.
Is that everyone on that row is named Debbie? Or just the two of you? You started a trend.
Her name is Debbie.
You can sit right there. Well, we're glad that you found the way. That's great. All right, anyone else? Anyone here from? Okay, was anyone here born in Las Vegas? Not a soul. Oh, right there, 1, 2. That's it.
Does it count if I came here at a year old?
No. No. You can cheat and say, I've lived here almost all my life. Yeah, we'll give you that much. All right. Well, very good. Well, we got a great group here. Thank you for being a wonderful congregation. And Cantor should be back from vacation, and we'll both be back here on the Bema, God willing, next week. We have a beautiful oneg. Oh, we got to do the Kiddush and Motzi. We're going to do the Kiddush and Motzi, but Leslie, what do we have out there? What do we have out there for our contestants?
We have some delicious baklava, cookies, cupcakes, and these little nectarine things, meringue things, and some other fun looking things.
All right. They're like running over there. But first, Gloria is going to lead us in the Kiddush and Motzi. So anyone who has been to Hungary, you get to come up. Anyone who's been to Hungary, you come up for the oneg.
Very funny. Does Rabbi have a preference as glasses
You-
or as glasses go?
Right up there.
Preference as far as glasses? Oh, God. I think you know by now.
All right, all these Hungarians are coming up.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen Amen. L'chaim.
Still keeps going. Keeps going.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
So when I went there, I had the tour guide take me, and it's now a city building, government building. But I was so glad to have walked on the same stairs as he, it was wonderful.
I imagine that.
Yes. So do you live there now?
Yes,
Oh, you
I'm
do?
leaving. I just visited my son.
Oh, how nice. Ooh, sorry.
Our closing song is Ose Shalom. All right. Our
All together, Osei Shalom. Big voices.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו amen.
Good Shabbos, everyone. Enjoy the Oneg Shabbat. If you could assist Paige, we're going to be collecting the prayer books, putting them right back up there. Alec, too. All right, bring your prayer books over there. We'll see you in the foyer.